So it took you about 8 or 9 years to work your way up from second assistant director to being a director on Nurse Jackie. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, it took. I would say that. I would say in general, it took 8 or 9 years to go from a second assistant director to a first assistant director to then a director on Nurse Jackie.
Okay, so there were kind of three steps to it. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's second assistant, then first assistant director, which gets you a lot closer to the producers, the showrunners, the other directors who go off to do other things. As a second assistant director, you're usually stuck doing a lot of the planning and a lot of the kind of paperwork, and all the every day kind of rests on your shoulders, and any little failure falls on it as well. So it's one of those thankless jobs that you do to get to the next level, be it a producer or a first assistant director. And I was a second assistant director for 1 year on Nurse Jackie, and then I first assistant directed that show for 4 years. Season 3, season 4. For 4 years, or maybe it was 3 years, and then on the fourth year, I asked for an episode. So I said, on that path, I said, I really wanted to be a director. I've always wanted to be a director, and I have to start doing something. I shot a short, and I did I shot and produced a short for like $3,000, and we did a small festival circuit, and I showed the producers of that show, hey, look at this. This is something I did. I would like to direct one day. Here we go. And then they, oh, this is great. Look how great this is. And then I let another year go by, and then I made a spec pilot, and we. I showed that to the showrunner of Nurse Jackie, and they were like, "This is great." And I said, at that point is where I kind of had to like put not the gauntlet down, but just go, look, I've been here for a long time, and I would really love to direct an episode. And if I can't, I don't know if I should be here, because if I'm not going to move up, then what am I doing? I hope nobody kills me when for saying that at Nurse Jackie, but that's sometimes you have to do that. You have to kind of say, hey, I really want a shot, and I know I'm a valuable tool for you in this one capacity, but just give me a shot to just do one more. It's just one episode. So I got that one episode. It was the second episode of the 6th season, and I had such a great time. It was a big episode. They had such a good time. They really liked it. Edie Falco really liked me. I mean, I had known her, for quite some time at that point. But it was it was like really fun, and it was, they liked it, and everybody went away like, great episode, good job. And I went right back to assistant directing. The 4th episode, I was the assistant director. And then just, by chance, halfway through the season, a producer came up to me and they said, do you want to do another episode? And I said, absolutely. And they go, there's a director who wants to get out of their contract. They're supposed to do episode 11. We think, she's asking, she's under contract to do it, but she's asking if we can cover her and get her out, and would you like to do it? And I was, of course. So I did that episode. It was the second to last episode of the season, and it went great. It was another great episode. It was a beautifully written episode by Liz Flahive, who's now the showrunner and creator of Glow. And the next, I eventually had to go get it. I went to the producers. I go, now what do I do? I was like, I want to do more of this. Now how do I do more? They go, oh, well, you have to go to LA, and you have to meet like Showtime, and you have to meet the Lionsgate people, and you probably have to get an agent. And I go, okay, I'll do that. So I go out and I meet Showtime and I meet Lionsgate, and I get an agent. And I come back and I go back to ADing other TV shows at the time, and the producer calls me up and he said, how many episodes do you think you can do and still be the AD in 1 year? And I said, I think you're asking me the wrong question. I go, I know you like me as an AD, but if you like me as a director, you'll still get me as an AD. I will still, whatever good I brought as an AD in that capacity, thinking about the crew or thinking about, I'll still make sure that happens. And they called my agent that I had just gotten, and they said that they wanted me to do 6 of 12 of the final season, including the season premiere. So I guess I did something right, and that last season was like I lived in a dream for the whole season. I was constantly prepping and shooting episodes and editing and prepping and shooting and editing, and that's all I did for that last season. It was it was the best time I've had on set.
Is that something that's always been in your makeup, to be in one position but be preparing to maybe move up? Because it could be an easy thing to get stuck somewhere. Sorry.
It is very easy to get stuck in one spot, and I would say I let myself get stuck as an assistant director for probably too long. Mainly because, I joined the Directors Guild, the money was good, I had a young family, I was like, this is great, and there wasn't enough pushing me to go and chase this. I did move up fairly quickly through the DGA or in the assistant director path. And I've always told people, and I'm pretty sure someone said this to me, I tell people from when they're PAs that you always have to be ready to do, you always want to be good enough to do the person above you's job. And if, I say it when I hire anybody, it's like, you want to do enough so that if you want my job, not in a sneaky way, but you want to be, hey, I can help you do that. I can do this. Can I, let me do that for you. And I've had plenty of people who've worked underneath me, and especially in the assistant director kind of category, I've had plenty of assistant directors who have gone from a PA for me to a second for me to a second for me to a now first on another show. And I always say that to them. I'll be like, I'll let you do all the job, as long, but that's you have to kind of keep proving that you can do that job. There's a little bit of you that wants your job, that wants that job the whole time. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, that you made it easy for them to see that you were ready for the next step, because you had the short, and then I think you said you did a spec. So it wasn't like you just went in there and pounded your fist and said, don't you see my worth? You also showed them with other things, it sounds like.
Yeah, you have to, it's not just like throwing your weight around. You have to do some of that as well. But yeah, I had something to show. I had something to put in front of them, something tangible that they could be like, okay, because it is it's a risk that everybody's taking, handing a director anything. It is a business. So when you're handed an episode of something, of kind of a major show, those can be between $4 to $12 million episodes. You're handing somebody for the first time, hey, you're now in charge, as much as you think you're in charge of this, and and people can really, you can screw that up. And that's where you separate yourself from the business, and you go, okay, I need to prove the investment, if that makes sense. I I need to give you something to take the leap, you know, that they can see like, okay, I think you can do that. And they even sent it to Showtime. They had to send it to Showtime to even get me approved, you know, like, look at this, he did this on his own. It looks professional. It's, you know, well done. And, you know, and that was that process.